welcome to the Master of Unlocking Game of the Year Extravaganza. We are now ready to determine our Game of the Year. That was obnoxiously.
I thought he was going to go into Vince.
And also,
I thought he was going to go full McMahon.
I think we're about ready to watch some like old horror movies or something.
I don't even know.
One of those like late night like horror movie hosts. That's what that reminded me of.
I don't even know anymore. All
Here we go.
Okay, let's do it. I'm Logan. I do weird things. Caleb.
I try not to do weird things.
That's a good notion in life. Jason.
I like games.
I also like tacos, but I just ate a lot of pizza too. And just now.
Yeah, you're just kind of
I'm in drunk pizza mode.
You're greased up.
Yeah. I mean, there's no alcohol, but I'm swimming in chi.
You're gonna have to persevere.
We're gonna persevere through this.
We've been looking forward to this all year long.
Here
we are. We've taken an entire day, and we're ready.
We have got our list of 41 games.
41. As is tradition.
Tradition. We are going to break it down to a top 10. We are going to determine 10 to 1 what games those are. No cop-outs on this one. No honorable mentions. Everything gets a rank.
Everything's an honorable mention that you're about to say.
Everything is an honorable mention that we're about to say. True. Well,
just by being on this list is an honorable mention.
I guess.
We should preface by saying everything on this list is something that at least one of us would recommend.
Oh, correct? I don't know about that.
Really?
I don't know. I would say in years past that would be true.
Well, if that's the case, we should take it off and put something else on there.
In years past, that would definitely be true. This year's games list, I would say, is a little more sparse than previous years.
Okay. Well, if something comes up that's not good, I'll replace it with something else.
So, out of our 41 games, we are going to go alphabetically through them really quick, and then we will start cutting and everything else. 7 Billion Humans, A Way Out, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Astrobot, Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Celeste, Darksiders 3, Dead Cells,
Deracine.
Thank you. Detroit, Become Human, Donut County, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or Fighters, I don't know, Far Cry 5, Florence, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, silence your phone, Graveyard Keeper, Hitman 2, Into the Breach, Jurassic World Evolution, Just Cause 4, Marvel's Spider-Man, Mega Man 11, Monster Hunter World, Moss, Mutant Year Zero, NBA 2K19, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Persona 3/5 Dancing All Night, Dancing in Starlight, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu /Eevee, Red Dead Redemption 2, Return of the Obra Dinn, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Soul Calibur 6, Subnautica, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Tetris Effect, The Missing, JJ Caulfield and the Island of Memories, and Yoku's Island Express. That is our list of 41 games. Start cutting it down.
Did you play that phone one you mentioned in the middle of there? Turn off your phone. What was that one?
Silence your phone.
Silence your phone. Silence your phone.
Silence your phone. I'm going to start cutting right away. I'm going to cut Soul Calibur 6.
Okay.
That game...
I don't think you would recommend it, Caleb.
I guess not.
Jesus. Okay.
That game, I love the Soul Calibur series, but I could not, in good conscience... The story mode that they had for that game was very convoluted, boring to an end, and they filled it with just... It was just, I would say, filler. It was just kind of the slap together nonsense about characters that weren't even part of the world and didn't make any sense to be there. And I'm not sure what the point was. It was very strange. It was like, here, you want to create a character? We'll throw together these random characters that don't make any sense and put together a rather boring story mode. And for a fighting game in the world of Mortal Kombat and Tekken that has very put together story modes, it's just not very good.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider
Yes.
needs to come off the list.
I have a note that just says boring.
I don't understand how that game was so boring.
I don't know either. I loved the last two, but that game was just...
It was a struggle to get through.
I didn't even get through it. I played 4 or 5 hours of it, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've got other things to do. So...
Like play other games.
Yeah, I like play other games that are good. Oh, what else do we want to cut on here?
How about Just Cause 4 can come off the list.
Okay.
I played Just Cause 4. It is fine.
It's just fine.
It is fine.
It is fine. It's more Just Cause.
You can't. No, that's not a valid opinion. Something can't be in the middle. You either have to love it or it just has to be absolute garbage.
It is hot internet take trash.
Hot internet take trash.
It's the worst. I cannot recommend it. Go home, Squeenix. What is it? Is that still Square?
Yeah.
Go home.
That does apply to them. Go home.
Yeah, just period.
Just go home. Take a break.
Be more like Gone Home and go home.
Reflect on yourself a little bit. Look at the mirror, and then come back when you're ready.
Someone needs to give them a hard intervention. It's more of the same, and it's fine. It runs fine. It runs a lot better than 3.
That's kind of an important part.
It's fine. You blow stuff up. You shoot guys. If you want to, but rarely, you just gotta blow stuff up, throw things around, use the wingsuit to fly around. It's really not fair to Just Cause that it came out in a year of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead Redemption, because those are very good-looking open world games.
There's gonna be open world games every year, and you can't put out a mediocre one and expect it to stand up.
Yeah, but it is unoffensive. Like, it doesn't really do anything necessarily wrong. It's just not as compelling as the other open world stuff that we played this year for sure.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Persona 3 Dancing comes off the list. It's fun. It is a dancing rhythm game. And also, well, I don't know how much you guys know about Persona 3, which is the version I played. I didn't play the Persona 5 version. But there's a party member in that game that's a dog. His name is Koromaru. And he has a persona, and he is not in the dancing game, which was very disappointing.
He has a persona and he wasn't in there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
They mention him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we didn't want to bring him with for."
So is Morgana not in 5?
No, Morgana's in 5. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, I was hoping to play that. I never got around to it.
It's fun. The plot is basically one of the Velvet Room assistants is like, we should have a dancing competition, and that's the plot.
Oh, sure, that makes perfect sense. I mean, why not?
Not a whole lot to it, but
I think we could probably take The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit off.
Yeah, that's a quick one, but yeah, it's not going to make the top 10.
I don't think it's going to make a top 10. It was fine. I don't know. I guess it's not going to make a top 10.
It's not going to make a top 10, so we might as well take it off now.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
just saying, it's in the group of stuff that people didn't necessarily like all that much, and I liked that one a lot.
I liked it. It's just I didn't think it was top 10 worthy. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Did you
I would like to play it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah. It was free, too. That's always a nice thing.
It's pretty heavy. Just be prepared.
I think we talked about it, and I just wasn't in that space, so I didn't play it. But I may go back to it someday.
Okay. Jason, you got anything you want to rip off here? Or I can always... I've got other things I'm willing to rip off.
I don't know. Not yet, necessarily. Okay. But we've got to start cutting stuff.
All right, I'll take Yoku's Island Express off.
Okay.
I think I mentioned it on an earlier podcast, but I thought it'd be something I'd like. I like pinball. I like puzzle-y games. I thought it was going to be like Loco Roco, because it kind of looked like that, but it just wasn't. Didn't have the charm. It didn't quite have the. I mean, I thought it would be this nice, quirky little music, fun game to play, and it just. I don't know. I felt like it drug on, and some of the puzzles just weren't really that great. So
I played like an hour of it, and maybe I'm just terrible at pinball, but I was having a tough time with it.
Oh, it's not easy. It's, but it can get frustrating at some points. But it was just I don't know. I really was hoping for like a quirky, charming thing, and maybe I set my expectations too high, and it was just okay.
Did either of you end up playing Mega Man?
No, I did not.
Then that's going to come off.
Okay. Was
That's
it good
good.
enough to play, or was it?
It was my first Mega Man game, so I have zero basis of comparison here, but
I grew up playing Mega Man.
it was fine.
Was it 2D or?
Yeah, well, 3D, but like 2D.
Yeah,
parallax.
2D
Yeah,
side scroller, parallax. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Let's take off Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
I played about an hour of it the other day just to see what it is.
Yeah. What do you think?
I like the combat a lot.
I do too.
Which character did you do?
I did the soldier, the brute. I can't remember the guard. He was all downtrodden because he let his ward get captured.
Okay, I did the scholar.
Okay,
and he's really interesting because you can see like the enemy weaknesses.
Oh,
so it almost works like Persona in a way where you like he sees this enemy is weak to fire, this one's weak to ice. So you try to knock them down to quote unquote break them so that you can get heavier damage on them on the next turn, which was really cool. I like that a lot.
That is good. Yeah, that sounds more interesting than what I did, honestly.
The story and the dialogue was so dry. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that the story really goes anywhere from what I was hearing.
Yeah.
I think it's a unique take. I really like the art style a lot. That's why I played it. It looks like an interesting take on 16-bit era stuff with a lot of polish and some cool pixel artifacts that are. It almost would look messy if it wasn't on purpose, which is the way it's designed. It's nice to look at, and in a world where I had an infinite number of hours to play video games, I probably would have played through it. I do recommend it if you are into RPGs, especially like stuff like Secret of Mana or Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
What else? Caleb, you've got a lot of things on here that you played that a lot of us didn't play. That's kind of when I think I did a quick count of games that we played, and Caleb, you played 35 of the 41. Jason played 14, and I played 19.
Okay.
At least that was the last count.
I'll just start at the top. I'll take 7 billion humans off.
Okay.
So the story in that game, it's super tongue in cheek, but it takes place in the future, and robots have been invented and basically are performing all of the human jobs. Mm-hmm. So there are 7 billion humans on Earth with no jobs.
Oh, which is close to where we are now.
Yeah. So they are employed by this robot company to literally be like their test subjects in these programming experiments. So you have to. It teaches you parallel programming, like parallel processing and programming. So you get this group of humans on your screen, and you have to say, "All right, move right." So they'll move right a square, move down, pick up the thing, put down the thing, and you're always trying to accomplish a task. But you have a bunch of them all doing the same thing at the same time. So you have to account for that, and you have to make it as efficient as possible. So it does a really good job of teaching you these programming skills, but it gets really hard towards the end, where I felt like, man, I'm not learning anymore. I'm just bashing my head up against the wall. But it does let you skip some of the harder levels too.
Oh, just pull up
there you go.
There.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in the case where you have this up here, you can't just say go right, because then the ones that are against the wall they're gonna just fall into the pit and die. But you need them to like pick up the nearest thing, take it to the nearest. I don't know the goal of this one.
It's like
exactly.
reverse building of like what you would think you're building robots to do, but you're programming humans to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It's the same people that made a Human Resource Machine, which is basically the same thing, except for it's not parallel processing. It's just single.
Oh, single.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Let's see here.
Oh, we can take Florence off. There's a last minute addition. Florence is really cool though. It's an iOS game. It's only about a half hour long, maybe 45 minutes. But it's a story of this girl. She meets this guy. I won't spoil the ending for you guys or anything, but it's really cool because it shows their relationship and there's no dialogue at all in there. So, for instance, they get into a fight and you control the girl, and you're allowed to like put a text bubble up on the screen as like your dialogue.
Yeah.
And it goes at first like you put up one and the guy puts up another one. And then you put up one a little bit quicker and he puts up one quick. And you have to keep going very quickly. So it's escalating this fight without words. So it's really like you get to experience their emotions. And there's little puzzles and stuff you do in there too. It's not super complicated or anything, but it's just really cool seeing this story. The music's really good too.
I feel like there's, even with that in Donut County, I feel like there's this new weird genre of just storytelling type things that are popping up on mobile stuff a lot more now, of just like, is it really a game? And it's just, that's where it's a new genre, that's for sure. It's different.
Yeah.
It's
Donut County looks more like a game to me than Florence, but maybe I'm wrong
it has
about that.
it has really one mechanic and a couple of. I mean, Donut County's got
quote unquote puzzles.
quote unquote, but there's not very, like, when you look at the level of difficulty on a lot of those, they're not puzzles, but there's things that a child can do.
I see that with Florence. I'm looking at some Florence, and there are minor puzzles. Yeah,
They're just, as I say, they're very small, but it's all. That's not what you're even really there for. The puzzles are just kind of there to make it a game versus that's the story
that's
that you're
one of
there
the cool
for.
parts about it is like there's one section where she's trying to learn something, so you get these puzzle pieces that you have to put into a grid, and as she moves on and as she learns, the puzzle gets easier and easier, and at the end it's just one piece that you move up.
Right.
It's not necessarily a game to solve the puzzle. It's using the puzzle to tell the story, which I thought was pretty interesting.
And it depends on how it's done and everything else. It's
I
just
saw the
interesting.
bubbles you were talking about, Caleb, and how they're piecing together, like you're building the bubbles. And then
It's just an interesting new genre, I feel like, that's kind of been. I mean, what was the game a couple years back of with the FMV game? It was mostly mobile. I think it was on Steam too, but the one with the girl that just sat there and did the
Her Story.
Yeah, Her Story. Like that wasn't. I mean, there wasn't a ton of game there, but there
is. Kind of.
That's what I mean. It's kind of a game, but you're there for the more. It's like 90% story, 10% game.
Yeah, I don't really feel like we're qualified to determine what's a game and what's
No,
not.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's a new genre. I feel like it's kind of a newer genre. Like that's all. Let's see.
Neither of you ended up playing Darksiders, correct?
No.
Okay.
And I heard it wasn't exactly great.
It's not.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's fine. It's another one of those okay games if you have time to waste, but it's a budget game. The only thing that makes me excited about Darksiders 3 is it's a B game, and we haven't had a B game in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it happened.
Something to be said for having a B game.
So if those make a resurgence, I'm all for that.
Oh boy, I'm looking through this list and I am struggling to find what to cut next.
Moss can go.
Moss can go. Okay. Yeah, I never played Moss.
It's cool. It's in VR. You kind of get these little like diorama scenes. You play as a little mouse, and there's some combat in there. It's pretty simple platforming, simple combat. You're just going from one diorama to the next. It's cool. It's definitely worth checking out if you have VR, but it's nothing that's gonna blow you away.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
I like that game a lot.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, we can keep it on. I wasn't sure how much you liked it.
I think a lot of it for me is nostalgia because it's just a remake of the first generation of Pokemon.
Okay, we can leave it on. We'll talk about it in more depth later then. Jason, you were the only one that played this so far, but NBA 2K19.
It's very good. It still continues to be good. I'm amazed every year that
It's still good.
They keep taking steps forward and improving it. This year it's a little bit harder, but it's also more technical. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know whether they've been saving some of this stuff for their audience to mature, maybe, or for people to really get into the nuts and bolts of like offense and defense.
It's a sim. It's not an arcade by any means.
It is. You run a play, you may not have success, and you better have second and third options in that play. And it's really interesting. I had a friend of ours teach me some of the stuff, and it is high level basketball. Like it is, and you can do different playbooks with different teams, and you can steal different teams' playbooks and run different plays, and it's all very.
You're kind of forced to run plays in this one.
That's the point of this one is that you are not allowed to just freelance because the AI is expecting you to either call out a play or run one, and if you're off the book of the one that's running, or if you don't recognize a play from that team's playbook, disaster. Like total disaster.
I don't know if I would like that.
You're not gonna. I think that's what I mean by. I think they've been waiting to unleash this. Mm-hmm. Like if you think if you have a guy who if you have it with your left hand and you hesitate and you go with your left hand to the hoop and you think that you're going to suck in a defender on the wing, your offensive player may not be thinking the spread offense that you have in your head. They may be thinking back cut depending upon what's going on weak side. And so I don't want to get too technical basketball jargon, but like you would think like draw the guy, pass the ball because the defender comes to the ball.
Simple play.
That may not be what the computer's got in mind depending upon the play that's running at that particular time.
The My Player stuff in the past is always kind of. I even recognized a couple of years ago when I played My Player for a while, it was forcing you to do a lot of plays. And I think that's maybe where they were trying to get people warmed into the play because I remember playing My Player in like 2K11 and you could just do whatever. Like you could just jack up threes and everything else but I think it was 2K17 that I played. It was, you had to go to your spot. You had to run the play. Otherwise you weren't getting the ball.
Yeah.
Like it was... So that maybe that's where they, like you said, they've been easing people into this through My Player, and now it's full-fledged. This is what the game is, and I think that's interesting and very cool that they've done that. And I think they tried to come out with that Playgrounds game this year to maybe satisfy that arcade audience.
Maybe
but I
that's
heard it was
a good
bad.
point. I didn't play it, but maybe that's what they were doing. Right?
Is it one of the top 10 games of the year?
Nope, take it off. There's too much other good stuff.
Okay, so on the list as it stands right now, there is nothing that is still on the list that I do not like.
Okay, that you don't like. Okay.
So is that the case for you guys too? Is there anything on the list that you do not like?
I don't like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay.
That
I'm not going to fight strongly for that one because let's take that off actually.
I'm sure people are just hating on me right now for it, but
there's other things I would rather fight for than that.
Yeah.
Is my thing. I like that game. I didn't expect to like that game at all, but
okay.
I do. And
I expected to like that game and I didn't like that game.
The biggest thing for me though is that, and this could just be a me thing too, but I have a lot of trouble in 4-player matches, which is basically what it's set up to do.
Supposed to be, yeah.
I have a lot of trouble keeping track of my character because there is so much stuff going on, and the camera is constantly zooming in and out. It's very difficult.
And I think I know it's the mechanic of the game, but the constant getting knocked off of the map, it's just a little too irritating, and it's not a fun mechanic for me, especially unless...
Smash has always been that way, right?
Yeah, it is. That's Smash. That's
it's like you've got these moving platforms and then like dynamic moving things.
But then like the single player mode of it, though, if you're trying to do that, what's the single player mode called? World of Light. And if you're playing 4-player, you fall off, you come right back on, you just lose some health and all that stuff. And World of Light, you fall off, you're done. You got to start over again. Like, we got to start the match over again. And if you don't...
But it's the same for the enemy, too.
It's the same for the enemy, too, but at the same time, it's... I don't know, maybe it's just because you're trying to mess around and learn some new characters and everything else as you get them, and if I just found, I was like, well, if I'm not Kirby or Jigglypuff, I might as well just say screw it, because they're the only ones who can float. And I just didn't really have that much fun with it. I was just like, I've got 3 buttons for attack, or it's 3. You got your basic attack, your special attack, and a jump. The grab is pointless.
No, it's not.
Every time I use the grab,
if they're blocking, that's when you use grab.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've played Tekken. Come on.
Yeah, they get the little bubble shield up, so you know they're blocking, and that's when you use your grab.
Right. I guess I'm just saying I didn't find it useful, or I don't know, because I never found that they blocked that much.
You're also forgetting that those 2 attack buttons that you have, you can modify those with direction. You can modify them with directions. So really, you have 10 different attacks that you could do with each character.
Well, that was about 6.
Because you have each direction with your normal attack, and you have each direction with your special attack plus the 2 neutrals, so that's 10.
Yeah, but the basic attack really isn't much by direction, though. There's not much change in it.
It depends on the character.
Okay, because I was gonna say
some characters are way different than
the specials. The special attacks. Yeah, you got those, but I don't know. I just didn't really care for it that much. I played it I probably played way too much of it even, and for what it was, I think I unlocked 40 characters or so I gave it a shot. Yeah, you did. I mean, I definitely gave it a whirl.
I guess if you played it that much and you wanted to come off the list, Caleb, unless you want to fight for it, that seems like...
I don't want to fight for that. There's stuff I would much rather fight for than that, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so we'll just take God of War off too. And...
No. No. Okay.
Anything else that either of you did not like that is still on the list? This is the easy part.
The easy part, yeah. Of stuff I just didn't like. There's things I just didn't play.
Right.
No, I think everything else I at least liked.
Okay.
All right.
What?
I don't know, Caleb. Far Cry can go.
Yes.
Wow.
That's fine.
Okay, there were 2 games that I was just waiting for you guys to clear.
But it's not going to... Look, I think that it has a really strong start and could have gone somewhere interesting, but it just does not stick the landing, like most Far Cry games. I played through it, and I didn't hate my time with it, for sure. I think I actively disliked more games this year than I... What am I trying to say? I liked my time with Far Cry. Even with all of that just crap at the end where it doesn't stick the landing. And I did like the risks that they took. It's just that they didn't earn any of it at the end. And that's why it should probably just go.
For me, it's the story that just kind of takes that game down a couple of notches.
That's such a compelling beginning, too.
It is. And
man,
for a game to have the best ending be... don't do anything at the beginning. It's like you're saying, don't play our game. If you know what I mean, it's just it's weird. And for them to keep relying on the bliss bullets over and over again to knock you out of nowhere and take you into an interrogation room, that happens like what?
6 times.
6 times.
2 per territory.
Oh God.
And why wouldn't they just kill me?
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And you can't stop that either. Like, It's coming for you.
You could be in the middle of a different side mission or trying to find something else. And
it was a really bad way of doing what they've had such a less clunky way of doing this before, where they would they'd figure out a way for an enemy to grab you like more naturally than just running around. Oh, I'm dizzy. Yep. Oh, my guy's falling over. And then you get that face-to-face time that is Far Cry. That is Far Cry. You're trapped. And you're face-to-face with one of the villains, and they're giving you a soliloquy about their thing, right?
And then you have to do the same shooting sequence that you just did before to get out of it. Yeah, it's just...
There had to have been a better way to get you that FaceTime with the enemies.
All of the moments in between the story beats are the best that Far Cry's been.
It's pretty good in those spots.
But the story stuff is all just complete trash to me.
The truck grabs, the freight that you're capturing and moving in the middle.
Yep.
That thing with the truck is pretty good, where you're supposed to get the main character's father's truck back.
Yep.
That's super America.
Yep. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but man, the story just kind of...
The beginning of that game is so good. Like, it's well voice acted, it's well portrayed. Like, he's singing Amazing Grace as one of his guys throws himself on a chopper blade.
Yeah.
That's great! And then it just doesn't
Just
happen.
falls apart.
Yeah.
Oh, we are down to 26 games.
So 6 more before our initial 20 cut.
There's one more game on here. This might be controversial to bring up that I didn't necessarily like or love, I guess. Because I guess I liked it. I just didn't love it. That'd be Detroit.
You're barking at the wrong tree. I'm willing to cut Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
He just moves on.
If we're wanting to cut games that I only played it and I think it's just okay.
Okay. Man, that's gonna be an interesting conversation when we get there.
Just remember the Perkins moment. Just remember that, Caleb, as you break down all of the faults of Detroit Become Human. Just remember Perkins. You fucking cocksucker.
All right, yeah, there's a couple of things on here that I can get rid of. Let me determine. Celeste didn't hit me as hard as it hit a lot of people.
People love Celeste.
Well, we haven't played it either,
No.
and that's hard for us to determine yet.
It's a very
RB, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Our bad.
It's a very heavy story. I think the gameplay is really good, but it's nothing that hasn't been done before. It's a very difficult 2D platformer.
Yeah, I like those though. So,
oh yeah, Graveyard Keeper could come off too.
Okay, what was that game?
So
That looks cool.
it is cool.
Keeper.
It's kind of like Stardew Valley,
Oh, okay.
but it's a grind.
Really?
Yeah,
More than Stardew. then.
Yeah. With Stardew, you always feel like you're accomplishing something, even if it's just like, let me sell my crops for the night or whatever.
Or even talk to a character that day.
And Graveyard Keeper, it's like everything takes a lot of time, and so the basic loop is like you're building stuff, obviously, but like to get the pieces that you need, it's like, okay, take the wood into this machine and get wood planks. Now take those wood planks and put it into this machine so that you get wood this thing. And then take those things and put them into this machine. It's just like, all right, so I need planks, I need nails, and I need screws. And that's going to take like 6 different machines of putting all this stuff through just to get my materials. It gets to be a lot. But it is cool. And I like the tone of it because it's just like, yeah, you're a graveyard keeper, but you could be a terrible graveyard keeper. And just like when you get bodies in that you're supposed to bury, you could just throw them in the river.
Sure.
And they're like, oh yeah, you took care of that body. Good job. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe there are repercussions later, but I didn't ever run into any for doing that. So
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of awesome.
there's also
Yeah.
like there's a mule that brings you your dead bodies, and after a while he's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna bring you any more dead bodies. You gotta give me stuff before I can bring you.
You
any more
getting shaken down by your mule?
Yep.
Okay.
Game of the year.
Yeah. It's cool, but
Yeah.
it's not top 10 in the year.
Okay.
We're all just staring at this list.
Oh
like,
yeah, and Subnautica can come off too.
Subnautica. Okay.
Yeah.
We're down to 22.
Talk about Subnautica real quick,
I
Caleb.
really like the setting and the quote unquote story of Subnautica. It's got a lot of really cool lore to it that I don't remember as very much because it was like a year ago. But I remember really being interested in the world and the way that everything went, the way that everything was going. I didn't much care for the gameplay loop of it though. Kind of the collect things to build other things. It's just
Okay.
kind of grindy that way too.
Okay. I was gonna. Is that pretty? It's very pretty, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Would you compare it to something else for me? Is there like a game that it's like?
As far as like gameplay,
Yeah.
kind of underwater Minecraft.
Okay. I'm looking at some photos now. Oh, it's got a cool look.
Yeah, it really does.
I hope maybe this is not fair, maybe, but I feel like this could be like a Games with Gold thing that I would check out, or a PS Plus game. Maybe if it was.
It's well, on PC it's free through
really?
the Epic Store.
Oh, through the launcher.
Yeah, they're doing a free game every couple weeks or something, and it's free through that right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're the new Epic Store is doing a bunch of weird free games for the first part of the year.
All right. What else?
What are we down to?
22.
So we've got 2 more to go before we can really.
Caleb, where are you at on Tetris Effect?
I like that game, but it can come off. I would have no problem.
I like it a lot too, but I'm not willing to
Yeah.
raise a big stink over it.
I was kind of like, I like Tetris. There's really, I mean, it was just Tetris with cool music.
I don't want to marginalize it like that.
Okay.
It's something more than that. It's
The way they did the sound design is really good.
yeah, the way that it moves with the pieces and clearing and how it ramps up when things get more intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's more it is Tetris, but it's Tetris with a musical element that causes you to have a reaction to it.
Right. I mean, I played 15 minutes of it, so you guys get.
You get like you kind of get like when it gets tense, like the music picks up and you're like, oh god, and then you clear an area and the music calms down and it soothes and it kind of ramps back up. And I think there's something more to that than just like traditional NES or Game Boy Tetris or even like Dr. Mario in that way. Quick question: does that have 2 players? Caleb?
No.
No.
Tetris Effect does not.
I remember that being
I'll tell you, it's my wife's game of the year.
Phil was here for a week, and his plane got delayed a day. So I was like, what could we do for a day? And I was like, oh, hey, Tetris Effect just came out. Let's go pick up that. We could play that. And
Just
I got
making
it back.
that assumption.
I got it back here, and it's like, there's no 2-player mode. We were really disappointed in that. So we just had to kind of hand the controller back and forth for a while, which wasn't nearly as good.
I don't know why it doesn't have 2 players.
I know.
I might even fight for it more if like I had played it more with
like you could have played with your wife and like that's because we've been my wife and I played Overcooked and had a good time with that. But yeah, like it would seem like it'd be a fun thing to do. Probably because of the VR element. But they could have included both, but maybe that's why they didn't. Was they thought, oh, we're going to do this VR thing and
Tetris Effect 2 with 2
players.
See,
Did either of you play Dragon Ball?
no.
Okay.
I wanted to, but I didn't get a chance to.
Neither of you are really into Dragon Ball.
No, I know of the characters through, life osmosis, but I mean, that's like,
Life
Everybody
is a
knows.
good way to, you just absorb some Dragon Ball, especially in the circles we run in, you just kind of absorb it a little. Like, I know Goku, and I've never watched a single
like
episode.
if you show a
Frieza,
picture,
Trunks, like, I could name a few people, but...
I can't do that. Good for you.
I bet if you showed a picture of Goku to, like... I bet it's over half of the people that you show that picture to would say Goku.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
think it's
well, I guess our age and below.
There's enough canonical weird stuff with that. I mean, did Goku got a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Yeah.
Thing this year. Yeah, that's how canonical it is now.
STFU. Really? Wow. That's crazy.
So we are down to 20.
It's a good list of 20, actually. It's a really good list of 20.
All right.
What do you think?
We'll take a break, and we'll. After eating lunch, I could probably go for a wee.
Okay, get yourself a little wee. Okay.
So we'll maybe take a quick wee break here, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and we are down to 20 games. Those 20 games are, in alphabetical order, A Way Out, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Astrobot, Dead Cells, Deracine,
stupid.
Detroit Become Human, Donut County, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Hitman 2, Into the Breach, Jurassic World Evolution, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Mutant Year Zero, Ni no Kuni 2, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Red Dead Redemption 2, Return of the Obra Dinn, and the missing J.J. Caulfield in the Island of Memories.
Why do you keep saying Caulfield? J.J. Macfield.
It's J.J. Macfield? I'm thinking Holden Caulfield or something. J.J. Macfield.
You said that before. I didn't correct you.
Okay, sorry.
I thought maybe it was just a slip of the tongue earlier, so I didn't correct you. But on the second,
well, it's not
try,
written here, so we just for the missing. I just like to do the whole stupid thing. Anywho, well, I guess I didn't say Mutant Year Zero : the
Road to Eden.
The Road to Eden. Yeah. All right. We gotta start cutting some more and getting down to 10. This is this is gonna be tough. We had a hard time getting to 20.
Now that they're in the top 20.
Okay, now you feel better that they've made it to the top 20. We can start cutting things.
I can be brutal here. I can cut like a bunch, right?
Okay, let's do it. If you want to start cutting, let's go.
Red Dead Redemption.
No. Stop.
Pokemon.
Okay. I had fun with it for a little bit, and then I got bored of it because it was just the same thing over and over again. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. It was fine.
It's a good nostalgia trip. I am looking forward to the next actual Pokemon title on Switch.
Yeah. So this wasn't a full blown Pokemon.
No,
help me out here.
Kind of. It's a remake of the first version, so Red and Blue. But it's they made it 3D, kind of, and they changed out there's no more random encounters. You can see the Pokemon on the map. And it uses the Pokemon Go style of capturing them. So you literally like throw a Pokeball at them over and over again. You don't have to battle them. There's still trainer battles.
There still are battles, yeah. And I'd say the battles were fine and everything. I'd say I had fun doing it. I mean, I just got to a point where I just got bored with it. I think I played probably 6 or 7 hours of it. I got up, I beat Misty. And I got a little bit further. I fought Team Rocket a couple times. So I can't remember exactly where I ended up, but I was probably a little over halfway through that map.
If you beat Misty, that's 2 out of 8 gyms.
Okay, I think I might have beat one more gym after that.
Lieutenant Surge should be him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you beat 3.
So I beat 3 gyms.
There's a big gap between the 3rd and the 4th gym, if I remember right.
It was a pretty, and I don't think I had gotten that far. I think a Team Rocket spot in the middle of that. I was in like a cave or something. I don't remember.
Did you go like through the slot machine area and go down?
That was kind of where I ended up. I was like, all right, this is, and I was like, all right, I think I'm done.
Duracine, I'll cut.
What is Duracine? Because I can't even say it.
It is I should keep that on there so I can keep making you have to say it. So it's a VR game made by From Software.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's way different from what you might think of as a From game, though. So it's these kids at kind of a boarding school, and
Persona.
Kind of, and they summon a fairy. And they don't really tell you why at the beginning. You kind of learn that as you go, but you play as the fairy. So you go around to these kids as they're doing stuff and try to help them. The fairy can you can absorb time and then give it to something else. So, for instance, there was one section where it was like this kid was really sad over his mouse dying. So I found a flower. And I took the time from the flower. So the flower died, and I gave it to the mouse. So the mouse came back to life. There's a bunch of stuff that happens in the story as to like why you were summoned in the first place. You end up the girl that like beckons you to come like ends up giving her life so that you can get your powers. So in the end, the way that you have to resolve the whole situation is go back in time and give her your powers instead of you taking them. So in essence, the fairy dies, but then the kids get to live. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Was this on PSVR?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not something that I'm going to fight for. And then I felt like there was something else on here I could just... Oh, Jurassic World Evolution. We can
I want to play that, I think.
I think it looks interesting enough. It's basically SimCity but with Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah, Dino Park Tycoon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How many hours did you spend on
I
it?
put a lot of time into that. It was the #1 played game on Xbox this year for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it came out during a lull, right?
Yeah.
And I think you played it like early summer.
30-some hours. I played most everything on PS4 this year, so then it kind of makes sense. But when I saw that, because Microsoft sent out the email,
Yeah.
like, check on your times, and that was the #1, and I was surprised. I put a lot of time into that, and it is fun. It's a little frustrating when, like, your dinosaurs they're unhappy for no reason. Like, they have everything they need, and they're still unhappy, and they just break out and kill people. That gets really annoying.
I think that time thing was off for me, though, too. Because I think I played a lot more Halo Master Chief Collection, and it didn't count. I wonder if it didn't count that because it was in that Insider program, but
Could be.
That's one of the things that does worry. I think that's why I haven't played, because I've heard that from a few people, Caleb, that there's no way that you could even perfect run it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Like you should learn from mistakes and then be able to control those mistakes. And then that's why I know the internet is full of guides that can break games for you, right? But you should be able to attain that.
But the Raptors are intelligent.
Well,
A crude suspension bridge.
one of the biggest things that was annoying was, like, it doesn't tell you how social a dinosaur is going to need to be before you hatch one. So you hatch one, and then you can see its social meter, and then based on that, you know how many more of those you need to have in the pen. And sometimes that's like 4 or 5. So you get one in there, and you're like, it's going to take another week for me to breed the rest of these. Meanwhile, this thing's unhappy, and it's going to keep being unhappy because it doesn't have a herd. So that was a little annoying, because if you would have known beforehand, you could plan it out a little bit better. Stuff like that. It's just... But it is a lot of fun just to make a dino park.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to or I shouldn't say blindly cut, but go ahead and yank out of there?
The only other thing... Well, obviously there's stuff on here that's not going to be in my personal top 10, but... well...
That's, I mean, if you're... Otherwise...
Oh, Into the Breach.
Okay.
We can cut that.
Yeah, I've looked at that. It's just not something that I would be too interested
It's
in.
really cool.
I've heard a lot of people say it's great.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of game is just not my cup
What
of tea.
platforms is that on? Everything?
I'm not sure. I played it on PC, but I know it came out for Switch. I'm not sure about the other consoles.
I'm not 100% sure either.
Yeah, it looks like just the personal computer, the Macintosh, Linux, wow, and then Switch.
Oh, so no PS4 or Xbox.
I don't know whether I wasn't paying enough attention or what, but I think I could have tried this if I would have been paying more attention. If I wasn't playing The Witcher, maybe. Caleb, anything to add? You played it.
Yeah, it's really fun to try to do a full run, but it's a little frustrating because if you mess up on one map, then your whole run is over.
How long are the runs?
Do a complete run would be like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah.
Wow. All in one sitting.
No, you can say.
Oh, you can say it. Okay.
But like, there's individual maps, and the goal is like, there's only so much power to go around, and if a building gets destroyed, that takes the power grid down, and you want to make sure that doesn't get to 0. So it is a lot of fun trying to min-max that, and like it lets you plan out a turn too without executing, so you can see exactly what's going to happen
without
committing.
Less
to
trial and error.
Yeah. So it is fun trying to puzzle out like the perfect way to do a run. But like I said, if you get 75% of the way through, you mess up on one map, then it's kind of like, well, I guess I have to restart this whole thing over.
Oh, yuck. Like, yeah. Alright. Alright, now we're going to start making hard cuts, right?
Yeah, this is where this separates the...
We have 16 games left.
Yeah, alright. I'm going to try one and see what happens now that we're at this point. Donut County.
Okay.
We're willing to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was almost going to say that one. I know that
You and I both.
We both liked it.
We
right?
we liked it. I think for me it was entertaining, but for me the best part of that game was the Trashopedia.
Yeah.
And if that's the best part of the game is just reading through some narrative stuff, maybe that doesn't belong in the top 10.
I like the narrative of that game a lot too. Just the whole what's that called? The gentrification.
Oh
type of story that.
The story. Like I said, the story was good and the Trashopedia was good, but everything, like I don't know, just the moving the hole around was just kind of like okay. Like it was almost to the point where I was like, I don't want to move the hole around. I just want to see what. I just want to see the story and see what the Trashopedia says. That's all I got to a point with that game. So I thought we were gonna have a bigger fight on our hands.
No,
boy. Okay. Oh, what's next? Caleb, you brought it up earlier. I don't know if we're ready yet.
I'm ready.
Jason, I don't know if you're ready yet. Detroit. I don't know if I'm ready yet. Jason, I don't know about you. I just know Caleb was ready.
I'm probably the most negative on Detroit, I'm going to guess.
Yes, I think that's yeah.
You're ready for it to go?
I was answering yes to Caleb. Yes. Hearing you guys talk about the other stuff that I didn't play that's on here, and then fringely experiencing some of the stuff with you guys, like, I don't want to call any of them out specifically, but we try to, at this point in time, looking at these games, we've all seen them in action, or at least I shared them with one another. Now that we're at 15, and we all played through Detroit, and we know it's good and it's bad parts.
That's very true. It has a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah, there are things I like about Detroit. I like its production values quite a bit.
I like Connor's storyline a lot.
I think there are some things about Detroit that are good. I don't know if I necessarily saw all of them, though. I was telling Caleb this. I kind of went back and looked at some Detroit stuff as I was ranking my personal, because I didn't really go back and go through every scenario. Yeah. Right. I don't want to do that.
I went back and I did the ending.
You reworked your ending?
I did 2 separate endings.
Okay.
That was the only thing I did.
So I think that when things go badly for you, it might be better. It might actually be a stronger story. There were things I was seeing out there, just playthroughs and let's plays and crap like that, where they show you if you make the wrong decision and you may lose a character along the way, but that stuff was actually more interesting because it made more of an impact, and it makes more of an impact on the story, and you miss things down the line, but it's more interesting than when your character is continually, these 3 characters are continually like narrowly escaping their situation, right? So it's like, whew, that was close. Whew, that was close. Whew, that was close. And it's that way the whole game. But then I saw some of the stuff where, no, wrong choice, game over. And all that stuff is like, that worked.
Yeah.
And the rest of it where you're crawling through the game narrowly escaping, that's the stuff for me that actually didn't work.
So, at the end of that game, the 3 main characters, I had all alive. Did you?
I did. My first ending, I had 2 of 3 alive. My second ending, I had 1 of 3 alive.
Okay.
I had 2 of 3 alive. I lost Kara.
Wait, I might have lost Kara.
I lost Kara, too.
I lost Kara at that was the last thing.
Yeah,
we both died on a boat across.
So
we died on the river.
So that's what I did when I flipped it. I did my first run when I said 2 or 3, I lost Kara. The other ending I did, I only saved Kara.
What was the kid's name that Kara had?
Oh, shoot, what was her name? Which that was I hated that reveal.
Yeah.
I hated that reveal.
That ruined
just kneecaps.
A giant part of that game for me.
It just kneecaps all of the stakes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And the stuff with Jesse Spencer, his real name, not Jesse Spencer, Jesse Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Alice
was the girl's name. What was the the main character.
Connor?
Not Connor, the other guy. What was his name? His real name's Jesse Williams. I don't remember what his
Marcus?
name. Marcus, yeah. I'd say his stuff just got a little too heavy-handed at sometimes. A little
too heavy-handed.
Way too heavy-handed.
A little.
But at the same time, I think if you did it the way that we probably played it, we played it heavy-handed. And if you played him like an asshole, I bet it would be more intriguing.
Maybe.
Like, it's like, no, like, screw you guys. We all probably played the pacifist route and tried to make peace with everybody. And I think if we would have played we're going to do a robot uprising, it might have been more interesting.
I said this to Jason once before, but okay, so this is a story. This is 3 different stories about AI characters.
Mm-hmm.
And in a world where we have games like Soma and we have games like Observer, Detroit comes up like a children's book to me. We have these games out there and these things that are making us think very deeply about AI and its role in the world, and are they human, are they not human, what separates that, what is family like, what is conscious like, who inherits things from AI. And then David Cage comes around and he's like, well, what if they're like slaves though? And it's just like, ugh, David. It's so surface level in a world where we have so much more interesting stuff.
But I think the difference in those is like is a generation gap maybe, of like maybe that's where like Soma and everything else was like a generation beyond that, like in a timeline. If I were to put it in a timeline perspective, I guess. It really came across to me. I'm not trying to defend David Cage because
it really came across to me like something that was trying to be extremely deep and did not accomplish.
Oh, I fully agree with that. I was just trying to put it in a timeline perspective, but that's where I think they were. I was like, oh, well, we made these robots to basically just be our slaves, is what they originally made them for, instead of trying to make them artificially intelligent, and it just didn't always work.
So one of the things that comes to mind that I think, what did you guys do with you go to the strip club, the robot strip club?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that part, but keep going.
You go with Connor and Hank, right?
Yeah, and because there's a murder that happens.
And so you're looking for one of them that committed the crime, and then you're going through like not dead, but like subdued, whatever, like sleeves, bodies, whatever they call them. And it ultimately is these two are in a relationship and they're trying to get out of there. They're trying to survive. These 2 androids are in a relationship. And do you guys remember how you specifically ended that?
I don't.
I let them go.
Yeah, so happy ending is you let them go. One of the things I watched was if it goes sideways, you accidentally kill one of them and the other one kills himself. And that is, for whatever reason, was more impactful than me mealy-mouthing my way to them like, oh, I understand, I'm sorry, okay, I want to be the good guy here. Both go, Hank, do you understand? Fuck, I understand. But instead it was like, oh no! And then Connor is left with the guilt. And that is Connor, an android, dealing with a human emotion, which is something compared to...
it's very surface level, but it's something.
But it is something compared to...
Well, and it's just what you look
I'm
at
a good guy. I'm the man.
Right, yeah, well, he was the good guy by letting them go because his emotion was to...
Feel sorry for them.
Feel
empathy for them.
Feel empathy for them. So it's, which is the more impactful emotion, guilt or empathy?
Guilt. Yeah, but again, it's just like... can robots feel emotion? Is like
that
oh my god!
Oh yeah, I don't disagree that it's that old story and everything else. I like I said, Connor's story I think was more interesting than all of them.
I was in on Kara and Alice.
I was for a while too until that reveal, and I was like, oh.
I kind of wish that Alice would have died or gotten kidnapped or something, and then I would have never known that. Because that would have made that story so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Let's take Detroit off the list, guys.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
We all want Quantic Dream stuff to be good.
Yeah.
But
It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
just
one thing that I've learned over the past couple of years is that people play games for different reasons. And one of those reasons, and a valid reason, is because it looks pretty. And if that is the reason that you play games, to look at the technical achievement that somebody put out there, then by all means, go play Detroit, because it's one of the top end ones.
I would say if it might be the best looking game out there.
But that is very low on my priority list.
From
on
character
what a game
models
needs to
and
hit.
everything else, I think it's probably the best out there right now.
I would probably agree with you.
I think so.
better than Red Dead?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as it's a different scale, so it's hard to compare.
It's a different. I mean, you're looking at a lot of green versus a lot of gray and rain and everything else. I mean, that's
a different debate altogether. But I bet it might be closer.
You also
than we think.
played Red Dead on an Xbox One X on a 4K TV, and you played Detroit on a regular PS4
Yeah, that's true.
on a standard TV.
Yeah, that's true.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's a little bit of a difference there. Okay, 14 games. I'm having a hard time cutting anything that I played.
Me too, but I'm gonna have to because I have a couple of things on here that you guys didn't play, so I can't do that to you.
I'm going to ask you about Ni no Kuni too, because I felt like you said you didn't like it as much as you liked the other Ni no Kuni games.
I'm gonna cut Mutant Year Zero before I cut.
Okay.
Kuni. I think that's the two left on this list, right? That only I played.
Correct.
Yeah, I like Mutant Year Zero a lot. It's really cool.
It looked cool
Yeah.
when I saw you playing of it. Looked all right.
The big negative, well, one of the big negatives is that towards the end of the game, I kind of found a way to break it.
Oh, no.
So I just kept doing the same thing in combat over and over again, and it worked every single time.
So you finished it then?
Yeah. But I am intrigued. I want to look more into, because Mutant Year Zero is, I guess, a tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like D&D or whatever. It's kind of a setting for that. I want to look into that because the setting for this is really cool. I like it quite a bit. But yeah, it's if we're putting that up against some of these other games, like it doesn't compare. Oh, I guess Monster Hunter is the other thing on here too. But
Yeah, I didn't know how much you liked Monster Hunter versus...
I guess, okay.
Before I ask you, Caleb, to cut those two games,
I would rather. Okay, here. This doesn't mean we have to or anything, but I'm just saying, for me personally, rather than cut those two, I would rather cut Assassin's Creed. I would rather cut Dead Cells and Forza, and also Hitman, actually.
I'm okay with Forza if you are, because that was kind of one for me that it's one I liked, but if you're willing to cut it down, then because you're the only other one who played it, I'm good with that. Dead Cells not yet. Hitman not yet.
Yeah, let's cut Forza because, I hate to say just a racing game. It's a stupid thing to say.
It's the best of what they've been doing so far. It's not, like I say, it's not much different than everything that's came before it. It's just somehow they made it flow together.
Yeah.
Better than what they have in the past. And so it almost falls in that 2K category of this game is good consistently. And every other year a Horizon game comes out and they make it better every year, and sure, good. So I'm fine with it going.
For me, like I said before, people play games for different reasons, and one of the big things for me that a game needs to hit is it has to have a quality story, and there's not really a story.
No, it's because it's a driving game. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it is. It's a driving game. It does what it does. Yeah. Hmm? 10, 12.
I can cut Ni no Kuni because I don't think I can justify having Ni no Kuni and Monster Hunter on here.
Okay.
So I need to cut Ni no Kuni. I do not want to cut Monster Hunter.
Okay. And this is all you guys on AC Odyssey. I didn't play it. I'm not gonna argue with you guys at all unless you want to put it like higher than number 4. And if you're already willing to cut it, then
I'm willing to cut it. This is a Jason. I don't know how much you actually like that game.
and I guess Jason, you too on Hitman 2. What are your? Because Caleb was willing.
I would
to
rather have Hitman 2 on the list than Assassin's Creed, but that's just my opinion. Assassin's Creed is like if you just lay them all out, I'd say this one's like dead center in the middle of the road for the Assassin's Creed games.
for overall AC games.
So it's not that I didn't like it; it's just that I think it's a mediocre one of those.
Before we do that, let me ask you guys about A Way Out.
I want to cut away.
Okay.
I don't want to cut it either.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
If you guys really see that as we all played it.
Yeah.
I don't hate A Way Out. I like things on this list more than A Way Out for sure. But I just wanted to make sure that we were all, before we said goodbye to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that we were all unified in that A Way Out deserves, representatively of the three of us, deserves to be on the list before AC Odyssey. Yeah. 1, because we all played it. 2, because you think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is okay, and I think it's good. I like looking at the rest of the list below. I like it way more than a lot of the other stuff here on the stuff that's out. So it made it this far. We've got to get to 10 before we start organizing things. I would rather see Hitman stay.
Mm-hmm. I just feel
I would
like
rather see almost everything else stay.
With A Way Out, it's actually a really good example because Assassin's Creed is another Assassin's Creed game, and then you have A Way Out, which is a completely unique experience, which I kind
of... For better,
wanna,
for worse, but it is unique.
Exactly, which I would really like to reward.
Okay, get rid of AC Odyssey.
Number 11, AC Odyssey.
I like that game a lot. I like that game a lot.
Okay, they're all tied for number 11.
Okay, everything's tied. Yeah, everything below here. Okay, everything from that we had in the top 20 is now number 11.
I feel like that was way easier to get to 10 than it was last year.
That was last year. Big year, good year.
Remember, we had a top 10, and then we went back. We went back and edited it.
We brought back games, I think.
Did we?
Because we had Horizon cut from the top 10.
That's right, because you didn't like it at all.
And then
we had to bring it back. And I think it ended up at like 5. So it was over with.
But I had Danganronpa in there, and you said, is it in your personal top 5? And I said, no, it's at 6. And you're like, then we have to cut it.
That's got to go.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Hearts and Minds case for Danganronpa last year. I forgot about that.
I just couldn't get into my top 5. I really wanted to, but last year was so good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are down to our top 10 of A Way Out, Astrobot, Dead Cells, God of War, Hitman 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn, and The Missing. JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories. Okay. All right. Do we need a breather before we start ordering this up?
I'm okay to keep going, but if you guys want to take a quick break,
let's take a quick break. Because this is probably
this might take an hour. Okay. And we're back. We're probably going to end up hurting each other.
No, this is the order. We already got
This is
it.
the order? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The Order. Game of the Year.
The Order, 1886.
Of course.
Damn.
It's been in front of us this whole time.
It's a lot like Detroit. Really good looking. Kind of sucks to play it.
It is a very pretty game. The Order.
Yeah, we're going to rank these top 10 here. We're going to figure this out. And, Caleb, you got a weird... Oh, you're just yawning. Okay.
Sorry, yep. Dragon here.
All right, so we've got to figure out top 10 between A Way Out, Astrobot, Dead Cells, God of War, Hitman 2, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Return to the Oberdin, and The Missing.
All right, so
Should we start going toward the bottom here?
I was just gonna say, as is tradition, let's put my game at number 10.
Okay.
So
The
Monster Hunter World goes to number 10.
Okay.
And then we can start doing the rest from there. Because I know I'm not going to get Monster Hunter higher than that. So.
Okay. That's completely fair. All right.
It's really good. I wish you guys would check it out. But
I played it with you.
It's a little bit of an investment.
Yeah, I watched you guys play it, and watched you play it that day, and I was just like, oh, this isn't for me. But
the feeling you get when one of those monsters goes down, it's the best. When you've been wailing on it for like 40 minutes and it finally goes down.
That's wailing
good.
on a thing for me.
Yeah,
Whatever,
the wailing on it. Yeah, I know. It's like
it's on the list. One of the top 10 games of 2018. Monster Hunter World. Congratulations. Welcome to the West.
Yeah.
We embrace ye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if you could bring Yi Zhanlian with you.
Wow.
Why?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm trying to think of number 9 here.
Dead Cells.
Not yet. We might have to concede that it's lower since.
What about Hitman 2?
Okay.
Okay. If you got if you're willing, if Jason, if you're willing to put it lower, and Caleb, you were willing to dump it out of the top 10.
I like it a lot. It just
I like it a lot too. I was gonna maybe pull forward a couple slots higher. That was all. But
I was.
But if there's nothing else you guys want at number 9, then
honestly,
where are you guys on Astrobot?
It's
on the list. I think it's
on
very
the
good.
list.
Caleb, you're the one that played it all the way through. We saw it. We're very impressed by it. It is on the list for that reason.
I want to play it. I wish I could have played it. I wish I could have played more of it. I think it would be higher on the list if I played it all the way through.
Me too, probably.
Where do you think it should fall, Caleb? You're kind of... I mean, since we played it and we both want to play more of it, what do you think?
But I don't want to get crazy against the stuff that Logan and I have finished too.
I would like to see. I'm going to put a. How do I do this? At number 8 is the slot we're talking about, right?
8.
Or are we still talking about 9?
I'm willing to talk 9. But
What if we put at number 9? What if we put A Way Out?
Sure.
And then Hitman at number 8. That gets Hitman a little higher.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I like A Way Out a lot.
Okay.
But I like the other stuff on this list more.
Okay.
This is smooth sailing so
far. Yeah.
All right.
And then we put Dead Cells now. And then I guess Astrobot would probably be next.
I think so.
For me personally, I would put Spider-Man there.
I would go Astrobot.
Actually, I would put Dead Cells there.
I would go Astrobot, then Dead Cells. How about that?
Let's.
Okay.
I could put Astrobot there. Let's not just be throwing other games into the vortex of Astrobot.
I'm trying to do some little negotiating here. I don't know where Spider-Man falls on your world. And if it falls at
all right, hold on.
7.
Does all right. So Caleb would like to see Astrobot higher than 7. He suggested that Caleb, are you suggesting that you would like to see Marvel lower or Spider-Man lower than Astrobot?
Yes.
There's no way Logan agrees with that.
No.
I think I do agree with that.
2 out of 3 agree if that's where you want to put it.
Not by much.
I
Where you at? Okay, Logan.
Okay, yeah.
So this is a tough one for you because Spider-Man's way lower than I think you would like it to be, which I understand. Spider-Man's very good.
Yeah.
Where are you at with the missing in Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is above the missing.
You.
Missing is way above Spider-Man.
Way above Spider-Man? Because I'm
Not
trying
way above.
They are on my list, my personal list, probably about 4 apart.
Yeah. You? Pretty far apart too?
I'd have to look at 2 or 3, probably.
Okay. So, should we slot in Astrobot and go from there? Because if you guys are conflicted about where the missing in Spider-Man lands, especially against the other stuff,
let's see what it looks like.
Okay. And then I'll ask some interesting questions in a minute.
And then Spider-Man?
If Logan is willing to accept that,
Is Spider-Man in any of your top 5s?
No.
yes.
Is Return of the Obra Dinn in any of your top 5s?
Yes.
Yes.
I knew I was going to get there.
I had to sacrifice it because for the sake of argument, I couldn't lie because this is important. Like, this is the list. Yeah. So I couldn't be coy no longer. I made the stupid slide at work and it was not here.
I knew it.
Obra Dinn cannot go here.
Cannot go at this
Cannot
low?
go at number 6.
Is it too low?
Yeah, that's too low. I would much rather the missing be there. I would rather Spider-Man be there. I would rather Dead Cells be there, but you guys seem very high on Dead Cells.
I'm okay with Dead Cells.
You might
6.
actually have to sell me on.
I'm okay with Dead Cells at 6. Jason, you are probably not, though. I'm staring at this list. I don't know. Missing your top 5?
No.
It's not in your top 5?
God, that's a tough question because I don't have it up.
It's not in my top 5.
It's either 5 or 6, and I can't remember which one off the top of my head.
I guess I'm thinking the missing goes here then at 6.
I'm okay with that.
And then I'm willing to put Spider-Man at 5.
Not Dead Cells?
Yeah. Does Dead Cells rank above Spider-Man for you? If these are the concessions I'm willing to make. I would put Spider-Man above Dead Cells, but that's me. And I guess where would you put Spider-Man above? Would you put Spider-Man above Dead Cells?
I don't. That's
Since
a tough
you don't
question
even
'cause
play Dead Cells,
I didn't really play Dead Cells, and okay. I guess yes, I would because I had interest in Spider-Man and I had no interest in Dead Cells.
If Dead Cells is number 5, I'm fine with that.
I'm okay both ways, yeah.
I just feel like Spider-Man at 4 is
too high.
That's too high.
It's in Jason's top 5. It's in my top 5. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. And if it's,
Yeah, let's just see.
And
how
it's
this looks.
on your list where Dead Cells is not on your list, then that kind of puts those there. That's where I feel like that goes.
I made a huge assumption here.
Let's review. Yeah, let's review this real quick. So number 10, Monster Hunter World. Number 9, A Way Out. Number 8, Hitman 2. Number 7, Astrobot. Number 6, The Missing. Number 5, Dead Cells. 4, Spider-Man. 3, Return of the Obra
I'm assuming that we have like the 1 and 2 is 1 and 2, right?
I didn't play Return of the Obra at all, and if you guys like it that much, obviously you guys like it that much to willing to put it at 3.
I think it for me it is a little high.
Obra is?
Yeah,
I don't know where you guys want to put it,
but I don't know, Caleb.
What
do you make the case for Obra if Obra is to be above Spider-Man? Why? I like Obra but why is it? Why?
So
because I know you feel like Spider-Man is too high, but I just want to know why Obra is important to you.
I really loved the giant puzzle. And every little piece of that game fit into the puzzle. There's so many very small details that you have to go over and fit into spots and make assumptions one way and then realize that no, that's not the way to go. Like I was literally taking notes on a piece of paper as I'm playing. Like it's that intense of a puzzle. And I guess for me, I'll take that over, beating up thugs for 10 hours. I guess maybe I'm being unfair to Spider-Man because the parts that I remember in Spider-Man, the stuff that sticks out to me is the one going around the city and doing the random crimes because I grinded that out.
There was too many of those. Way too many of those.
And 2, the stealth missions with Mary Jane and Miles.
Those are the 2 negatives that I have. Of my notes that I wrote down for the game, I wrote that the sneaking missions and the too much side stuff were the negatives and what otherwise could have been an A+ game. That was exactly what I wrote.
I don't think it would have been an A+ game without those because I think the story was fine. I don't think there was anything like outstanding about it. And this may be just me too, but like you have to compare it to Batman, right?
Let me read my exact note that I wrote. They took an Arkham game and put the Marvel treatment on it. One of the better superhero stories told in a video game. The sneaking missions and too much side stuff were negatives for me and what otherwise could have been an A+ game. That's exactly what I wrote.
So I guess to me, like, these villains didn't seem very interesting, or I didn't recognize most of them.
Yeah, if you're not familiar
and
with
maybe
that,
that's just me not knowing
them.
Spider-Man and knowing Batman a little bit more. But I felt like in the Batman games, I always felt like, okay, this person has a reason for the stuff they're doing. I understand what it is. I know who this person is.
The Batman villains are better in general.
Yeah. And it just seemed like we got the B tier of that in Spider-Man.
I think because they're ultimately looking at this as a franchise.
Yeah, sure.
Mm. And I don't think they knew how to do it as well as Batman did it. I mean,
Similar to why we got Baldur, maybe, versus other...
Right. I mean, obviously, Thor's still there.
Right.
He's lurking. That's in God of War, so that's the... you're looking at moving up the big bad chain, if you want to call it that.
I agree with you, Caleb. I just wanted somebody else to make the case. Because I think that... I think Overdome it's so
special.
That's what I was going to say. It's exactly the word I was going to say, but I don't like too hyperbole around the word. I'm just trying to find it's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not played anything like it before. And it's 2018, and I can't remember the last time I've said that.
You think of how many games have been out over the last 30 years.
even including God of War and Red Dead, nothing grabbed me the way that Oberdin did this year. Like, nothing... I didn't look at the clock and say, oh, crap, it's this time. I didn't do that for any other game except for Oberdin.
Oberdin's really great. But it's not perfect.
No.
You know, that's and none of these games are right, but it is not. It's got plenty of flaws to it as well. There are things about the system that don't work, like you can misidentify a murder somehow, or you can misidentify somehow someone was killed, and some of that is very finite detail, and it even accepts some of that stuff too. Yeah. But you could, because of the graphic style, you may misinterpret some things, and it's not perfect, but
you should be able to jump around from scene to scene through the journal and not have to go back to the body.
Right.
There's stuff like that should be in there.
There's some quality of life argument there too, like we may have with other games. And I think that I'm pretty willing to forgive that because the Oberdin is pretty tiny. You know, it's just a ship. You can get around it pretty easily. Having said all that, I was absorbed in it like you were, and I really wanted to know, like, you find out who each individual person is, and how they passed, and how the other people were involved, and what happened to them, and the decisions they made to go where. And
it does the portal thing too, where it makes you feel very smart.
Yeah.
So there's moments in there where you're like, the first one for me. Sorry, Logan, I have to spoil this.
That's fine. I probably won't get a chance to play it.
But the first one that happened for me is in, like, it's on the first deck, like below. I don't know what they're called. Like
the gun deck, I think, is the second one.
Or maybe it was the second one. It was in a room, and there was
the quarters are on the third level down.
Okay, the third level down. There's a kid that's in there, like a younger guy that's dying, and a guy that's, like, standing over him trying to help. Mm-hmm. And he has a very thick, I think it's an Irish accent. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this stuff. I don't like, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, let me look at the crew ledger. There's only one guy from Ireland, and it just makes you feel very smart in that instance.
Later on. There was an Italian, and there's only one Italian on the boat. That happens late in the game. Same thing.
There's a guy that's covered with tattoos, and he's the only Samoan guy. Like, stuff like that, and it makes you, once you figure it out, you're like, I am a genius for figuring this out.
Yeah, look, and if this sounds like work to you, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I
fully anticipate. Yeah, like you said, he was taking notes and everything else.
It's not easy to play. It's the reward of crossing them off the list.
And when you hear that little chime, when it's like, you got 3, it's like, yes, I got another 3.
But when you're talking about work, though, the thing that I'm just listening to this, that the work that you're doing is work towards a goal and not just busy work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that not all games can say that they do.
Actually, like Spider-Man.
Okay. Those are side missions. You don't have to do the side missions.
Which I didn't do any of.
I did. I'm not done with it. I don't have all the side missions done, and I don't know if I'm going to go back and do all the side missions.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I feel like I was just like, now I'm at the point where I'm swinging around and I can't even get all the crimes to pop up. So like I said, I'm fine with that. I just was, with it being where it is, I'm just asking you guys if that's where you feel like it should live. And
it might be.
How long was it? 8 hours?
It depends.
Yeah, it depends on
how long it takes you to figure it out.
Yeah, it could be any. Mine was like 20.
Really? Okay.
Dude.
Did you figure out every?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave up on like the last like 15 because I'm like, I got no more clues and I just want to see the end. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah, I needed some help. I needed help finding the corpse that was hanging outside of the window.
Oh, yep.
I was just circling the damn ship and I could not find it, so I needed help with that. But other than that, like, you just kind of guess, like, who was here during this, and like, you have some unknown fates, and you just have to guess. And if you guess, you get them right, more or less. But like, oh, you were here when the squid was attacking. I bet it got you.
Yep.
This person was next to you. I bet it got them too. You were escaping, or you were trying to escape. maybe you escaped.
Or
And, like, you just throw darts against the wall.
The last one that I
escape.
actually did figure out was one of the women. And I was like, how are you supposed to know what happened to her? She doesn't show up ever. Like, she's in none of the scenes. And then I realized, wait a minute. She's the one that sent you the letter at the beginning of the game. So she's alive.
Yeah, where is she from?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And then maybe there's another person there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does a really good job of just making you feel like you're very smart for figuring it out.
I think I'm okay with your order.
Like honestly, it's higher on the list than it is on my personal list.
Really?
But I don't want to put it below Spider-Man.
You don't want to put it below Spider-Man?
No.
You don't want to put it
But just the
above.
way the rest of this list shook out.
So what? You don't want it to be? You don't want it to be at 3 and then Spider-Man 4?
No, I'm okay with it the way it is.
Okay,
I'm just saying
the way it is. You don't want to move Spider-Man up.
Yeah, I don't want to move
Okay.
Spider-Man in front of Over Dead.
I'm not arguing that either. So if you guys want to, if it would be higher on mine, but if it's not as higher, if you guys want to keep it there, then
So
keep it there.
it's a really, really weird, like
The list you feel like
it's
is
just
in a weird
very
order?
it's in a very weird order. It makes sense as a group, but it's very weird to look at it and be like, man, that's not the order I would put these games in, you know?
Mm-hmm. The only one I feel like that's out of place for me, and I don't know if I would put it, I don't know where I put it, though higher, is A Way Out. I feel like it's too low at 9, but at the same time, I don't know how to put it any higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you don't know a game to pick on, for lack of a better, I hate saying that, but
Right.
for lack of a better description, if you don't know what to pick on instead, then
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel. I feel that way about Dead Cells, but
Mhm.
I love Oberdin. I love Spider-Man. I love God of War. I love Red Dead. There's just no way.
I would probably put A Way Out above The Missing, but but if Caleb, if you feel like it should be higher, I'm okay with that.
Do you want to switch The Missing and Astrobot?
It's all you guys. It's totally up to you guys.
If I would have had a chance to play more of Astrobot, let's just pause it. Let's just throw on Astrobot. Let's play it for a little bit, see what happens.
So good.
I would probably have the time, honestly. But
In all reality, should we do that? It's 2:00 right now. I'm throwing that out there.
I don't think you're going to get anything additional out of Astrobot that you didn't already.
Okay.
You know what that game is. It's
Maybe
just
that
more
could
of
be a reward for figuring out what is 1 and 2 truly.
Okay.
Because let's just get that done. We're too close. We've come too far.
We've come too far.
We're done with the island part in Red Dead.
Oh God.
We must finish.
Are we all okay with 3 through 10? Because I am.
I think I am.
Yeah, that was my only thing, so I just brought up, and but at the same time, like I said, I'm having a hard time arguing against it.
I could switch The Missing with Astrobot, and I could switch Hitman with A Way Out. But other than that, I'm...
Logan, you want to switch away out in Hitman?
No.
Okay, then it's got to stay.
Okay. All right.
All right, we're locked in 3 through 10 then.
Oh boy.
And now the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just going to go ahead and switch these.
Mm-mm.
And we're done. All right. Good job, gentlemen. We did it.
Sure.
Sure.
Can I have an argument?
Hang on. I just want to say real quick, if we should probably put in an 11th game in here, and then just call these 1A and 1B, because in my opinion, they are that close. But I think this is the order.
I would like to contest the order.
So, Caleb proposes that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the Master of Unlocking Game of the Year 2018. Logan would like to make a case for God of War being the best game of 2018 and why it needs to be at the top of our list. Logan.
Mm-hmm. Logan, let's be clear here real quick.
Yes.
Are you are saying that you God of War, then Red Dead, then the rest of the list?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes, I'm just saying God of War 1, Red Dead 2.
Okay.
That is my only case, and the only
Because
reason
if you said otherwise, there's no way.
Oh no,
Go home.
Oh, yeah, no, there was Red Dead doesn't change anything else. Yeah, I think we had that probably. Yeah. For me, I think that God of War was a more complete package than Red Dead was, with the amount of the storytelling that they did with God of War, and something that I had very little hope for it. When they announced that, I thought,
really?
I was
high on it from the start.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, you look at God of War as it used to just be this beat 'em up, giant set pieces and gore and everything else, and that's all it really was this angry guy.
As time went on, but the first God of War was... Let's not discredit the first God of
War. God of War 1 was good. It had a lot of good storytelling in it. And the way that they did they really just changed it up completely. And I think that when you look at Red Dead, I had zero intention of mainlining that game. Zero. But the more I played it, the more I wanted to stay away from all the side stuff, because it just... I don't know. I didn't have the time to spend hours hunting for perfect pelts or playing slow blackjack games for 1 out of 100 odds to do all of that extra stuff that they put in there. And for them to put all of that extra stuff in there, I mean, I know it's extra, but...
I think they really screwed the pooch on the achievement list, because the achievement list is just absolutely opposed to the way that they want you to play that game. They want you to go in and be immersed and pick up what you want to do at any given point. I want to do this thing right now, so let me go do it. Oh, well, I'm not feeling that, so I'm going to go work on this for a while or whatever. And the achievement list is like, do all of these things. You know what I mean? It's like, here's a checklist of the things, and that's exactly the opposite of the way you should probably play that game.
Right. And that's just one thing. I think the other part for me, though, is the gameplay mechanics themselves. It almost feels like, the Rockstar method of doing those games, the way that the shooting and everything else is poorly done. It's not... The tiny little reticle thing, and how it's a physics nightmare a lot of the time, and the way that you have to go into cover, and it barely works into cover a lot of the times, and versus how well put together that axe was in God of War, and how you did all the fighting mechanics in that, and how everything moved around versus how everything moved around in Red Dead. It almost seems like they need to do a little bit of revamp in the combat situations in all of the Rockstar games, because it's basically the same thing as GTA. It's just with different guns, and you have the Deadeye mechanic. But there was just too many times where I felt like a lot of that stuff was janky and fell apart for me in Red Dead, versus where it was very crisp and worked perfectly well in God of War. And I never really felt like there were times in God of War where I was like, God, this is... Like, I'm just annoyed at how the gameplay is going.
There were a couple that I can think of. The part on the ship when you're coming back from the underworld, and you have to keep the 2 torches lit so that the ship stays afloat.
Oh, I remember that. I don't remember
really annoying, because you have to just keep running back and forth between them.
But that was one section of a game. This is a constant mechanic.
I'm saying it's not flawless, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, and but that was a section of it where it was like, okay, here's this thing. I mean, you had the entire section of the island that was just broken as hell in Red Dead. So that's just where I go back to of the gameplay mechanics. If you're looking at the game as a whole, the mechanics for me fell apart in Red Dead, where I felt like there was a complete package from start to end in God of War that I can't really find any complaints about, where I have some complaints about Red Dead.
I feel like Jason is over there. You guys remember in Astrobot when you do a challenge level and he's up against the gate at the beginning and he's just running. I feel like that's Jason right now. He's just waiting at that gate just to get out there.
Those are my feelings about it. I mean, like I said, I think Red Dead's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to pick a game that was just overall, complete package. For me, it was God of War.
What's your completion like for God of War?
100%.
What's your completion like for Red Dead?
I would have to go in and check my exact percentage, but it's I finished the whole story plus some side stuff.
The story gets you like 75 to 80%. In the completion percentage.
I mean, I did a good amount of stranger missions. The one thing I really didn't, I tried to do some of the hunting stuff and some of the gambling stuff, some of the finding different things, and then when I decided, I was just like, I don't think I'm having a lot of fun with this, trying to check off the boxes as much as I used to in Red Dead. That's when I decided, I'm just going to go ahead and mainline this. And it took me a while to decide to do that. I can pull up my completion percentage here. I think it's on the app, but
I'm just trying to figure out if this is a function of you spending more time with one or.
I think the hour count is much higher in Red Dead.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is, from a completionist standpoint, like your investment in God of War is just higher than it is in Red Dead. Whether it be hour count, not really. That's not the metric I'm going for. What I'm saying is you made the personal investment in God of War, and you didn't make that in Red Dead because you had some beef with how it was handled.
76% for Red Dead.
I see a lot of the peripheral stuff in Red Dead as strengths, and you see them as weaknesses. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't as compelled by God of War to go out and complete all the stuff that you were. I can't really point to a reason why. I think that I much prefer the world of Red Dead 2 to God of War. I feel like one is more immersive than the other. And I understand that's why people have complaints, because Rockstar has taken you on a journey that is theirs and theirs alone, their vision. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You got to ride that horse.
I got used to that after a while, and that's not where my biggest complaint is. I mean, yeah, the side stuff is one thing, but for me it goes back to the mechanics. I really just think the shooting mechanics and of that game, and the constant you accidentally you bump into somebody in town, and next thing you know, you started a fight, and all it was because you were just trying to slow down and turn into a building, and you accidentally bump into somebody, and it's like, oh, shit, now I got to spend 10 minutes trying to get away from this just because it wouldn't slow down, like that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to cover behind a rock. Well, it won't attach to this rock, and I'm just constantly. I think about that. The one that I think was the worst was there was a spot in the epilogue where you and Sadie were going after a Mexican drug guy, and you were kind of in a trench a little bit. Mm-hmm. I could never get myself attached to something, or if I did, he'd attach to it, and then immediately you fall out of it, because you're just trying to go up to turn to shoot something, and it just would fall out of cover, and you're trying to get back in, and it just would never work right. And if you don't have the basic mechanics put into the game properly, then it's kind of broken. Not saying it's a broken game, but I think just that mechanic that they've put in for all of that movement needs just a whole overdo. I mean, that overdue? I'm trying to think of what. Overhaul, yeah. And I hope they do that for the next GTA game. And it's worked for them in the past. It's just, for me, it's just getting a little too...
Where are you at with this shooting problem of Logan's?
I don't think it's perfect. I didn't have as much trouble as Logan, I guess.
I don't either. None of the stuff he's talking about is really resonating with me as far as the shooting stuff. I thought Deadeye was perfect. I mowed everybody down with little to no trouble.
Did you use Deadeye almost exclusively?
Yeah, because you can just keep popping it.
See, I could never just keep popping it. Mine ran out so fast.
Tobacco. You can hold 10 chewing tobacco.
I never really used that much at all, honestly.
I didn't really either. That's why, I would use
it differently.
See, I'd use it at the beginning, first part, or if I saw a bunch of them all on screen at once, then I would use it. But I always felt like it was never clicking as much for some reason for me. I would
10 tobaccos every time, loot them off of the bodies. I don't think I shot anybody without Deadeye. Maybe less than 10 times without Deadeye. Always had.
I'm like the exact opposite of you. Like rarely used Deadeye ever.
And I was probably in between.
In that game, it never really forces you to move out of cover, so I would find one cover spot and then just kind of shoot everybody. So I guess
I had to move
that's
out of cover a good amount.
I never felt like I had to. I could just stand behind cover and shoot everything. Because I guess at the end of the game, they had some enemies that would run towards you. But for the most part, they would just sit back and behind cover.
I always just had to move up constantly. Like, it was more of a...
I upgraded my weapons pretty strongly.
Yeah, I just have... Yeah, and I had the sniper rifle that I would just pick off everybody.
Yeah, my weapons were really strong. I just didn't have any trouble. So it's hard for me to identify with.
And I had the whole island section for me was broken. I felt like the entire game was broken during that part.
There were a lot of issues with that. There was the camera was
camera
bad.
issues. Just moving around in that on the island was completely
the wildlife
broken.
was broken in a lot of ways too, which that's not a huge deal or anything, but it's I don't know how we decide.
I don't know. That's I guess I'm just looking at it as it was for me. It was just a more complete package versus Red Dead's a huge package.
I think,
but
the interesting part here is, well, I guess I'm making an assumption about you, Jason, but I feel like Logan's got to get a pretty significant gap between his God of War and Red Dead. You're the opposite of that, and then for me, they're very close together.
Mm-hmm.
I could see an argument for God of War being our game of the year if you were stronger for it.
It's like, I mean, if we're talking about two 10 out of 10 games.
Are you talking a coin toss for you?
And it's literally like, it might even be recency bias. I don't know, but to me, it's just the feeling that I got out of Red Dead made me feel like a cowboy, and I never felt like the God of War in God of War.
I don't know if that was ever. I'm trying to think if that's even a thing that I've ever like is that what I'm supposed to feel like? I don't know.
I lost myself in Red Dead, and I don't think I ever lost myself in God of War. If that makes sense.
I don't think God of War is designed to lose yourself in though. Because of
immersive.
Rockstar designed that game to be immersive.
I think I guess it's which game was closer to its target than the other, and I think that was Red Dead, but just barely. What was the vision that somebody had, and how close did they get to that?
I would say God of War did the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of where they would have missed the mark at all, and I don't see it. And I don't know if Red Dead missed the mark on their target by any means. I think they put out the exact game they wanted. I just thought that there was just more flaws in Red Dead than there were in God of War.
That's fair.
And that's...
I think they're very different games in scope.
Yeah.
One is a true open world game.
Oh, yeah.
And God of War is not.
It's it's an open world, but it's very closed.
Yeah, it's masked as one, but it's not.
Yeah. It's individual levels masked as an open world.
Yeah, it's just there are different strengths and weaknesses with both. For me, it's just the storytelling in Red Dead is far superior in my opinion, and I think the characters are more interesting overall. There's a lot of them. The investment in each individual story of them, you get what you put into Red Dead.
Yeah,
ultimately. And not to say that you don't get that out of God of War either. It's so
hard
difficult.
because it's like there's no way to quantify what like if you're comparing one thing to another, it's hard to compare those between these two games.
Just thinking about little things like right now I'm visiting all of their graves, all of the gang members' graves that you lose along the way.
I don't know. You could go and do that.
So that's what I'm saying is like there are things I think about Red Dead that maybe you're yet to understand or uncover. I just told you that you didn't know that. There's plenty more probably with the completing the compendium and animals and all that stuff. And I haven't done that stuff either, but I bet there's more there than maybe you're seeing overall. And if you had to play Red Dead, if that was the only game you had to play and finish it out, I bet that if you had the time to complete it and do everything, I wonder if you would feel the same way about it after you saw everything. It's easy to say without doing it.
I'm just trying to think of, because you think of like the other games that they've done. There's the what are they called? The trophy animals, or they call legendary animals. I couldn't remember what they were called. I'm sure those are probably interesting to do. I don't know if you guys have done any of those. Did you do any of those?
I didn't know.
You did?
Yeah, I did like probably 6 or 7 of them.
Oh, man.
There's like
10?
No, there's like 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, then I guess that goes back to me of like why 20? Like 10? Like that makes sense. Like I don't know.
Yeah, there's people out there that like the hunting is the thing that they want to do in that game.
And they try to make a game for everybody. And I don't know, it was just for me it was too much. Of doing all that stuff, but like I said, it's like the storytelling's great. I tried to do as many stranger missions as I could. The one glitched out on me, by the way. The one with the scientist.
What about it?
So it became it showed
the electric chair guy.
Well, the one where you start off with a boat and then you were supposed to go up to his cabin. His cabin
where he's working on the electric chair.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So yeah, his icon was up there. I was on my way up there. I had it set as a waypoint, and I got attacked on my way up there. And then
very specific times.
Yeah, it's just a time of day thing.
Yeah. No, it's never showed back up again.
I felt the same way too. It's like a 3-hour gap. It has to be a very specific time.
Yeah, really?
Yep, it's just a small time.
It's a very small time.
I kept looking every time I pulled up the map. I was like, "Where is his icon? Where is his icon?" You'd think I would have came across it at some point in time.
I ended up timing it out.
If you're on your way up there, it may pass by the time.
Maybe that's what happened. It passed on my way up there. I got attacked. I survived it, and then when I got up there, it was gone. Yep. But then I would have thought that at some point in time in the game, it would have came back if it's a 3-hour time frame, unless I just got really unlucky and missed it.
It's just It's like a 3-hour window where they're doing it.
Oh, so if I missed it the first time?
No. In the day. Yeah. In the day, like in the 24-hour cycle.
Yeah, because that
is explained. Like, I'll be there to there. Like, he tells you.
Right, I just am trying to figure out.
And it's not described as a time. He's like, I'll be there at dusk. Or something like that, which
is like 4 to 6 p.m.
Whatever, like you
right? Yeah,
know.
It's one of those of just like how in the world did I miss that? Like, or how did it just like go away? But even at that, like, I'm surprised it never popped back up.
I've been trying to distill my thought, and I think I have the last thing I have to say, I guess, why I would choose Red Dead over God of War is volume. I think there's just so much more Red Dead, and it's all very well done, in my opinion, that I think it deserves to be that slight step up. The amount of characters, the amount of voice work, the amount of detail, the soundtrack.
I think it's the characters for me, now that I think about it.
I think it's characters and the way their stories unfold.
Like, I didn't want to be done. There are characters that I wanted to see more of, and I can't say that about God of War.
But is that a bad thing?
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. I'm saying, like I said before, we're comparing 2 10 out of 10 games.
Right, yeah.
So I'm trying to find any little detail to hang my hat on, and I think it comes down to, like, okay, I wanted to know more about Tilly, honestly. I wanted to know what happened to her after all this stuff happened.
You do get to, that's what they give
you. Kind of.
They give you something.
They do.
Better than nothing.
But, like, I want more. I wanted to find her. I wanted to see what she was doing.
Oh, as John.
Yeah. And I can't say that about God of War. Like, I can't say I want to know what...
Who's on the horse with Tilly? Is it Sadie? When Arthur says... Because they start to get emotional, and he said, go, take the money, go live your life. And Arthur identifies the one decent person left in camp and gives her the money.
Yeah.
Is that Sadie? I feel like it's Sadie, but maybe not.
It's Sadie and Arthur, right at the, like, they go to Fork at the end, or like, like that's when Arthur goes, and you have the option, I think, at that point to go get some money
John.
or whatever, or go save John, which, I mean, who the hell went and got the money? Like, and what happens if you go and get the money? I guess, I don't know. That's
not worth wondering.
Mm-hmm.
It probably just has that same fight, but just in a different location.
I was just curious. I'm like,
Red Dead will just stick with me longer. It just will. Those characters, the journey, Arthur into John, which I think, whatever, people can have an opinion about John being like shoehorned in. I thought that was
no. I didn't think it was. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I don't have a single qualm with the story other than like the goofy thing, or like I just thought it ended a little odd with Dutch just kind of leaving, and like you were just kind of like everything was just kind of okay. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know.
Well,
why
I think that's the
it.
end of Dutch's arc, where he finally realizes he's been an evil person this whole time, and
right. It's just more of like
some closure on Dutch that way.
It was more of just like the end of like, okay, he was with Micah this whole time, and then all of a sudden it's just like, really, this is how it's, and like without saying a word.
It's his Red Dead Redemption. I had to. Sorry.
Where's the rim shot button now? Where's the soundboard?
Oh, okay, I'll put it in post.
I am good either way. To tell you the truth, I personally would vote Red Dead, but man, if you like, I guess what it comes down to, I guess, is Jason, how close is that gap for you?
Just as small as yours.
Okay.
And if that's what you guys want to do, then we'll put Red Dead there. I just wanted to be able to say I just about what I felt about God of War, which I mean I just think it was, the story they told in God of War I thought was just as good, and I thought that it was just a more complete package, and versus, I mean, you 100%ed it, I 100%ed it, but at the same time, getting 100% in that is a hell of a lot different than getting 100% Red Dead.
You're talking like triple the time investment.
Oh, probably more. And just the stuff that you have to do in Red Dead to 100% it, I think you got to pick and choose what it is you like to do and what you want to do, because the thing about the blackjack thing, that's just annoying. That's just a time dump.
Yep.
There's nothing good about that. There's nothing fun about that.
Good point.
That's just literally sitting there and playing cards for 5 hours.
And that was kind of my point earlier with, I think they did us wrong with the achievement list, with those challenges.
And I mean, to each his own on that. Like, I mean, if it's achievement you're going after, I mean, 5 years ago I would have been really pissed off about it. But now, I mean, it's more of just okay, what's my entertainment value versus my time?
Yeah.
And that's why I did the stranger missions in there, because those were entertaining. I'm not going to go and hunt things because that's not entertaining for me. Maybe I do a legendary animal because if it's something unique and different, like I'm going to go hunt this giant bear or something, that could be entertaining. Yeah. But going and picking 18 million flowers or trying to find a dinosaur bone in the middle of a field, I don't think so. Or playing cards, and I can play real life cards. So
God of War.
So God of War.
I don't know.
It sounds. I mean, you said it. If you had to pick one, it would be Red Dead. Then you were essentially the tiebreaker in this.
But Jason said he's just as close as me.
Yeah, but it still is Red Dead.
And if there's two of you that are just didn't feel like a notch above Red Dead, then it goes Red Dead, then God of War.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit bad because I agree with most of the stuff that you're saying, but
yeah, I don't disagree either, except for the shooting stuff. I was fine.
Like I want to give you this because you made a good argument, but at the same time, like I can't. For whatever reason in my head, like I cannot get over Red Dead just being better.
It was better at what it. I think if you cut out some of the nonsense in there that you don't have to do,
right?
You don't have to do it. I mean, because that's the way I'm even kind of looking at it too. Is like that's where I was like, if I take the secondary stuff out, I don't have to do that. For me, it broke down to the mechanics part, and that's where, I mean, visually they're both great games. Storytelling, they're both great. It's the mechanic part for me. It was like that was the only spot that I felt like Red Dead took a notch down for me that I could say, this is why God of War is better.
It's like watching that Best Picture winner nominee versus watching that like incredible summer blockbuster. And I guess I lean towards the Oscar. Does that make any sense?
No, it does. Because I mean, yeah, like you look at it as like, is God of War going to get nominated for Story of the Year? Probably not.
Well, I mean, this year.
This year would have. I mean, I guess it would get nominated, but I mean, ultimately, yeah. Like, well, look at what the Game Awards did. Yeah. Red Dead won every category, but when it came down to it, Game of the Year went to God of War. And that's where I guess I was looking at the overall package, and I felt like God of War put together an better overall package for me than Red Dead. But at the same time, moment wise, Red Dead had more moments. But I thought about this too because I was waiting for Jason to say, "Well, look, it had 18 more moments than any other game this year." But last year, Wolfenstein, how many moments did Wolfenstein have? But it ended up at like number 8 on our list, just because the gameplay wasn't that great in Wolfenstein. Right. But the gameplay's good in Red Dead. It's just for me, I had some faulty issues with it that bothered me from time to time, But ultimately, yeah, if you guys want to put Red Dead at 1, I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay. Because I think it's a great game. I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just would say that I'd give the nod to God of War.
I think we're done then.
I think we are too. All right.
Speak now or forever hold peace.
I think we did.
Yeah.
All right. So
I filled out the subtitles for you here too.
Oh, okay. And it's actually the right one. Okay. So number 10, Monster Hunter World. Number 9, A Way Out. Number 8, Hitman 2. Number 7, Astrobot Rescue Mission. Number 6, The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories. Number 5, Dead Cells. Number 4, Marvel's Spider-Man. Number 3, Return of the Obra Dinn. Number 2, God of War. And number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2. That is our games of the year.
I think to be absolutely clear with everything, I think we all agree that Red Dead and God of War are number 1 and number 2, and then there is a significant gap to number 3.
Very much so.
So it's that close.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, Logan. It's just, I guess,
if you had to give this the edge, you'd give it.
Yeah, and just, I don't know, personal taste maybe. Just the way things impact you differently. I think there's just more there with Red Dead. And more detail, and just I find it a little more interesting. But I do understand. It's not like you're wrong. I mean, everybody knows the issues with Red Dead, and it is not perfect, but I just feel like it's moving us forward, and GTA has moved us forward. Rockstar just continues to do it. I don't know how. Like one of these days they're gonna like fall on their face. I keep thinking, and they just don't. And I don't know how they keep doing it. So maybe 10 years now, when GTA 6 comes out, we'll see if they've improved the quality of life, or if the shooting is better.
We're gonna get Bully 2, and then
God,
there you go. Only you guys would be down on Bully 2.
Oh yeah,
I'd be down if they did something different, like just something different.
Bring back Agent.
Did you? They let the copyright for that lapse.
Did they really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else we want to say about 2018?
Congratulations, Red Dead.
It was
by the skin of your teeth.
It was overall not the best year for games, but there was some very, very good stuff.
Do we have our 2017 Game of the Year list?
I was just gonna say maybe that's the next thing we do, is maybe we should look at that since we have some time. But
yeah, let's
wrap this up first.
Okay, so I was gonna say, do we want to look at that real quick and
wrap this one, and then we'll.
What, you want to do another podcast?
It's just starting a recording. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Well, we might add on to this or something. I don't know. All right. Well, that was your 2018 Game of the Year. We might do a quick comparison of... I'm interested if we were to take any 2017 games, put them up against the 2018 games, and see how many of them still made the list.
Overtime.
Just if we were comparing 17 to 18.
Let's end this one and we'll take a quick break. We'll go into overtime.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, we're gonna do that. All right, stay tuned. Something like that. What's in another podcast? Listen.